Hey guys, welcome back to my 100 most popular algorithm series. In this particular video, we are going to take a look at lead code problem number 39, which is combination sum. It's a medium level problem and liked by close to 5,500 people. So the problem statement goes like this. So we're given an array of distinct integers, which is called candidates, and a target number which is 7. We need to return a list of all unique combinations of candidates where the chosen number sums to the target. So for example, here we given 2, 3, 6, 7 and the target is 7. So we need to pick a collect combination of candidates which equals to target. For example, here 2, and we can pick any number like multiple times, which is mentioned here. The same number may be chosen unlimited number of times. So here we can pick 2 as many number of times as we want. So we have picked 2 times, and then we've added 3, and that equals to 7. So this is one combination. Similarly, the only other combination we can find from this is 7 itself. So if you take 7 alone, and then that obviously equals to target 7. So these are the two outputs that we need to collect. Right. So that is what is required from us. Now, whenever there is a combination permutation problems, obviously backtracking generally helps, where we need to produce multiple combinations of these numbers and try to see if that is matching the target. So backtracking is a perfect fit for this kind of problem. So let me explain how that works. And obviously backtracking is a lot of recursion, so you'll have the logic really revolves around that only. So here we are given in candidates 2, 3, 5. The target is 8. So this is our recursive functions. So we'll see how that works. And here is the output where we'll collect the outputs. Okay, so the way it works is first we'll pick the first item. In first recursion loop, we'll pick the first item. So let's say 2. And in each recursive function, we'll add items to the combination array. Okay, so we'll have combination array which initially is empty. Now in the first recursive function, we'll pick this item 2 and we have added that into the current combination. Now we will move to the next recursive function. Now that, remember, the number we can use any number of times, right? So this second recursive function, instead of starting from the second position, it can actually start from the first position. So we'll again pick 2 and we'll keep on doing this until we either equal to target, match the target, or we exceed the target. Okay, so right now the total is 4, so we can keep on going until we are reaching 8. In the third recursive function, it will again add 2. In the fourth recursive function, it will again add 2. So now at this point, we know that equals to 8. So we'll take a snapshot of that combination and store it in the output. And then we'll backtrack. We'll remove from the fourth recursive function, we'll remove this. We'll try to add the next one, which is 3. Now this is exceeding 8. This is 9. So we cannot add it in the output, but we need to stop the recursion. So we'll remove that. We'll not go further. We will try with another item, which is 5. And here also, because it's sorted, we cannot add anything. So we will stop the recursion. Right. So that is, we'll stop here. We'll go here. Now at this location, again we'll try with 3, because remember here we have tried with 2, then we'll try with 3. We'll see if that works. And this is equal to 7. So we'll go here. We'll try to add 2, which exceeds the target. So we'll not do anything, and so on and so forth. So this is how we'll basically try every combination through these recursive functions. And whichever is matching the target, we'll add it in the output, and whichever is exceeding the target, at that point that recursive function will break the recursion. So that's the logic. Let's begin coding of this problem. Now typical backtracking, as you all know from our previous videos, we actually need 2 functions. One is the backtrack, which will do the heavy lifting, and here the parent function will basically call this initiate or trigger the backtracking by passing the seed values. So here in the parent function, we'll first do some basic sanity checks. So if we do not have any candidates, then we'll return an empty output. Okay, now we will need an output to keep track of all the combinations which are matched. Now as I mentioned, we'll call the backtrack function and pass some seed values, and then we'll return the output. So that's the skeleton which we have. Great. So now what we need in this backtrack function, obviously we need the candidates array to work with, so we'll need that, of course. We'll need the index, at which index I am in at this candidate location. We will also need a current combination, which I have mentioned here. The current combination, which will keep track of the items present in the current combination. So this will be an array. Then we will need, what else do we need? We will obviously need the target in order to match the target. So and we will need the output to store all our outputs. So yeah, so that is the parameters that this function needs. So we'll pass the seed values in the parent function. So we'll need the candidates as the first argument. The second argument is index, which is 0 to begin with. Combination, right now we don't have any combination, so it will be an empty array. Target, we have the target here and we have the output here. So we'll pass those in, and yeah, the job of this function is over. Now we'll focus on this function. Now again, it's a recursive function, so there are two things. First is recursion base case, and the second is recursive logic. Now base case, in order to figure out the base case, remember the recursion will break when the numbers in this combination, the sum of these numbers in this combination exceeds or equal to target. So we will first determine the sum of the numbers that we have collected in the current combination. Now if that sum is greater than equal to the target, then we know that we need to break our recursion. So we'll just put a return here. But there is a special case. If the number is equal to target, then that is matching, I mean that is what we are looking for, right? So we'll add that combination in the output. So we'll append, we'll take this combination and we'll create a copy of it and store it in the output. So yeah, that's the base case. And focusing on the recursive logic, we need to try, we'll start with the index. So we'll have to start with the index and we'll have to end till the end of candidates, and we'll keep on trying. Each index will keep on try until we match until the combination is we found the combination basically. So here we'll have to start with the index. Now what we need to do is take the candidate number at that location, we need to add in the combination. Okay, so for example, we are at the second, we are here, let's say. So we'll take that 2 number and add it in the combination. So that in the combination we'll append whatever the number we have at that position. So we have here we have expanded the combination. Now we need to start the recursion, like give the chance to the next recursive function to do its to add the same value again. Now backtracking. Now here we need candidates. Index will remain actually the pause. The next recursive function will also start it from this location. So we'll pass pause, because remember we can reuse the numbers again, right? So the next recursive function can make use of this number. So we will still pass the location that we are in to this particular function. Then we'll pass the combination. We've added one number to the combination. We'll pass it. We'll pass the target and we'll pass the output. Okay, so after this function has done its work, we will remove the combination that we will remove the number that we have added. So we'll pop it out and we'll try with a different number in the next loop. So yeah, this is the logic. So this recursive functions will keep on building this combination, and then the recursive function will break until they meet the target or exceeds the target. So likewise, all the output will be collected in the output, which we are returning from the main function. So yeah, let me verify my code. Yeah, working fine for a very simple input. Let me try with a little complicated one. Here the target is 7. Let me try with the first example. It should return these two outputs. Yeah, it was successful. Let me try with the example that I was mentioning in the explanation part. The target is 8. it should return these three items. Yeah, it's accepted. Let me try with the negative case where the target is actually smaller than the number, so it should return an empty output. Yeah, working fine. Let me submit my code. Yeah, it was accepted. So yeah, there you go. This is how you solve this problem. I hope you liked this coding challenge. For more coding challenges like this, stay tuned to my channel. I'll see you the next one. Bye.